As spoken in our last two studies, the mystery and the gospel have such close ties, it can be expressed as the good news to the Gentiles that was lost. Christ, Yeshua, proclaims good news to the Gentiles in Luke by quoting Isaiah. Luke 4:18, the Spirit of Yah is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised. In other words, Yeshua is fulfilling scripture of Isaiah, which is foretelling of the Anointed One. He is saying, I am the Messiah, the Anointed One, that has come because Yah has sent me to do these things, and names him from Isaiah. Certainly many did not recognize him at his incarnation. His death, burial, and resurrection came as a mystery for the inclusion of the Gentiles who were lost in captivity. In this passage, he states that he is the one to proclaim liberty to the captives. But who are the captives? 2 Kings 15:29. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and took Ijon and Abel-Beth-Maachah, and Genoa, and Kedesh, and Hazor, and Gilead, and Galilee, all the land of Naphtali, and carried them captive to Assyria. 2 Kings 17:6. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. The Assyrian captivity is the time period in which the northern kingdom of Israel were captives in Assyria. The northern kingdom of Israel was conquered by the Assyrian monarchs, Tiglath-Pileser III and Shalmaneser V. They began taking captives in 734 to 732 BC. The later Assyrian king Sargon II and his successor Sennacherib finished Ephraim's demise in 724 BC. Ephraim, or the northern tribes of Israel, eventually became known as the Lost Tribes of Israel. The kingdom of Judah, which was taken into Babylonian captivity, were able to return back to Judah after 70 years of exile, but the 10 tribes of the northern kingdom never returned and assimilated into the Gentiles, thus known as the 10 Lost Tribes. As spoken before in the study Lost Legacy of Ephraim, the Gospel, 1 Peter was written to the northern tribes of Ephraim, who had become strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. That's 1 Peter 1:1. These were the ones who were captives of war and were assimilated and scattered. They were assimilated into being Gentiles, and we have Peter, Paul, John, and James writing to them. James specifically writes to the 12 tribes who are scattered. The indications of this fact are astounding. James 1:1. James, a servant of Yah and of the Messiah, Yeshua, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. Paul has letters to those in Galatia, or the Galatians, and also writes to the Ephesians and Colossians who are part of Asia, as 1 Peter denotes are scattered strangers. In the book of Revelation, John writes to the churches in Asia, that's Revelation chapter 1, verse 4. In other words, according to 1 Peter 1:1 and James 1:1, Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia are indicators that the book of Galatians, Ephesians, Colossians, and Revelation, or specifically the churches in Asia in Revelation, are written to the mixed scattered tribes of Israel. They are explicit references denoted by name. These are 6 books that are explicitly speaking to the lost tribes. The Gentile nations are where the lost tribes assimilated into and lost their identity. The terms Gentiles, nations, and mystery are mentioned throughout most, if not all, the New Testament writings. These terms are implied ideas of those who are of the scattered tribes, mixed within the multitude of nations, and are inundated throughout the New Testament. This information is hard to swallow because we also know the gospel is meant for all who are in Yeshua's blood, whether they recognize the blood of inheritance of Ephraim or not. Yet these next verses will help us understand our identity thousands of years removed and lost. Hosea 7:8, Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Jeremiah 31:8-10 says, Behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the coast of the earth. And with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return. They shall come with weeping, and with supplications will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of water in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble, for I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. Hear the word of Yah, O ye nations, and declare it in the islands afar off, and say, He that scattered Israel will gather him, and keep him as a shepherd does his flock. This has never happened, and if this prophecy is to be true, then where are those who declare to be Ephraim? Jeremiah 16, verse 14 and 15. Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yah, that it shall no more be said, Yah liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yah liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands where he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land I gave unto their fathers. The northern tribes are lost and scattered amongst the different land that they were driven to. The exodus that is still being spoken of is the one of Moses and Pharaoh, not the one of being taken out of the north. Yet how will this prophecy be fulfilled if only a few have identified themselves as part of the lost tribes? The house of Israel is differentiated from the house of Judah in Scripture. Jeremiah 3:18. In those days the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers. While the tribes are differentiated, this comes to an end when the two sticks are united, as spoken in our study, Lost Legacy of Ephraim, the Iron Rod. Until then, the lost tribes must come from the ends of the earth as prophesied in both testaments. Isaiah 43:6. I will say to the north, Give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from afar, and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Isaiah 52:10. Yah hath made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our Elohim. Jeremiah 16:19. O Yah, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, Surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things where there is no prophet. Mark 16:15. And he said unto them, Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. Acts 13:47. For so hath Yah commanded us, saying, I have set thee to be a light of the Gentiles, that thou should be for salvation unto the ends of the earth. It is not a coincidence that the Great Commission is meant to reach the whole world, just like the prophecy that the Gentiles, house of Israel, Ephraim, will come from the ends of the earth. It is also not a coincidence that Abraham's blessing has reached the whole world like the sand of the sea and the stars in the sky. We must remember that not all are chosen, but only those of the promise. These are the remnant that are chosen. As we can read, the remnant is within the midst of the nations. Micah 5:7-8. And the remnant of Jacob, that's Israel, shall be in the midst of many people as a dew from Yah, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles, the nations, in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep, who if he go through both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. The remnant is made up by the seed of Abraham, the seed of promise. The remnant of Jacob, all 12 tribes, is in the midst of many people and is elected by grace. Romans 11:4-5. I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Even so then, at this present time also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. The remnant is among the nations everywhere, just as the lost tribes are scattered everywhere. Why wouldn't they be the same? John 11:49-52. And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, Ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yeshua should die for that nation, and not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. The apostles, as I have quoted Paul, John, and Peter, understood that he had come for his lost sheep of the house of Israel, those who were scattered as the fullness of the Gentiles, the Melo HaGoyim. Just as the prophets understood that one day the scattered tribes would return, both the apostles and the prophets are writing to the lost tribes of Israel and the Gentiles as one entity. This is not preached in mainline Christianity. Romans 15:8-12. Now I say that Yeshua was a minister of the circumcision for the truth of God, to to confirm the promises made unto the fathers, and that the Gentiles might glorify God for his mercy. As it is written, For this cause I will confess to thee among the Gentiles, and sing unto thy name. And again he saith, Rejoice, ye Gentiles, with his people. And again, Praise Yah, all ye Gentiles, and laud him, all ye people. And again Isaiah saith, There shall be a root of Jesse, and he that shall rise to reign over the Gentiles. In him shall the Gentiles trust. The root of Jesse, that being the Messiah, is being explained in the New Testament as the hope for Gentiles, and is quoted best from the Septuagint version of Isaiah 11:10. But you are welcome to read it in the Masoretic text as well. And there shall be on that day the root of Jesse, even the one who stands up to rule nations. Nations shall hope in him, and his rest shall be honor. And it shall be on that day that Yah will further display his hand to show zeal for the remnant that is left of the people. Whatever is left from the Assyrians, and from Egypt, and Babylonia, and Ethiopia, and from the Elamites, and from where the sun rises, and out of Arabia. And he will raise a signal for the nations, and will gather the lost ones of Israel, and gather the dispersed of Yehudah from the four points of the earth. The lost ones of Israel and the dispersed of Judah are within the midst of nations, among the Gentiles. The Messiah will raise a signal to the nations, and the lost and dispersed ones will gather in recognition of their heritage, even from the ends of the earth.